Why Illinois parents and communities need to wake up and say no, sir. What is SIR? S is for sexualized. I is for illiterate. R is for radicals. Illinois education is prepping kids to become sexualized, illiterate radicals. Start with S for sexualized. The Illinois State Board of Education endorses specific sexual health education concepts. These K-12 lessons are available at isb.net. The National Sex Ed standards were signed into law in August of 2021, and school boards vote on whether to adopt this curricula. The National Sex Ed standards were drafted by activists. They include Advocates for Youth, Answer, and SECUS. The following lessons are for the 6th grade. In these 6th grade lessons, 11-year-olds are further instructed on gender ideology topics with references to religious bias and Planned Parenthood. In this lesson, 6th graders are to explore gender roles and gender expectations. In the note about language, it tells the teacher that they're going to use the pronoun they instead of her or him. In scenarios and role plays, the teacher is instructed to say, quote, someone with a vulva, end quote, versus saying a girl or a woman. In the homework, they are to fill in the name of a gender that they are not and think about how they'd finish a sentence. Once they come up with some ideas, they are then to complete the sentence stem with 3 things they perceive they'd be able to do if they were a different gender. In this homework sheet called Gender in the World Around Us, it is hyperfixated on the stereotypes of boys and girls, men and women, and at the end it poses the question, which has greater gender flexibility? In Lesson 6, Liking and Loving, Now and When I'm Older, the learning objective includes describing 3 types of sexual intercourse, including whether or how they are related to human reproduction. Abstinence is listed last. Lesson 7, Being a Sex Ed Sleuth, directs students to a variety of websites, including sexetc.org and plannedparenthood.org. In the PowerPoint lesson for Being a Sex Ed Sleuth, one of the slides instructs students to look for bias and says, quote, regardless of your own religion, a faith-based organization may have biases based on their own beliefs and teachings that may limit the extent of the sexuality-related information, end quote. The PowerPoint slides reference Nemours, which is a radical clinic based in Delaware that practices unethical care of minors. Slide 5 tells the teacher to say, quote, so when I read It's Your Sex Life, it makes me feel that organization wants me to take responsibility for and care of myself. I'd kind of like that as a teen. I think it'd make me feel really capable and mature. What also stands out even before I click on the link is that it refers to the CDC. The CDC is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and it's the leading national public health organization in the U.S. It's also a part of the U.S. government. I know this because the ending, the part that comes after CDC, is .gov. So if I see the CDC mentioned, I know they've done their homework and that the information is accurate. The CDC, however, has faced widespread public scrutiny in recent years. This article from the New York Times dated February 20th, 2022, the headline reads, the CDC isn't publishing large portions of the COVID data it collects. The agency has withheld critical data on boosters, hospitalizations, and until recently, wastewater analysis. Kelly Shinkowski, a California mom, researcher, and expert on comprehensive sexual education, recently discussed the harms of this agenda during a Moms for Liberty podcast with co-founder Tiffany Justice. California was one of the first states to push for comprehensive sexual education. Kelly now homeschools her children.
A little concerned as a mom because I'm watching this and it's showing the CDC has like so much control over what is happening within the public education system. How many parents do you think recognize the amount of influence and power the CDC has in our schools right now?
I think very few. I think it is a topic that we must get out to families and help them to understand that this takes all the educational concerns we're currently seeing and it amplifies them. And it also includes far more government involvement in your child's lives, in their data collection, in all kinds of community partnerships that the government decides they're partnering with, not you, the private citizen. They are usurping parental rights in this, because the intent, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is to really get to a place where students are making decisions about their health care separate from their families.
Parents across the country agree that comprehensive sexual education is desensitizing children to the concept of their bodies and overstepping the parental rights boundaries. Comprehensive sexual education is in the following schools: Chicago Public Schools with 340,658 students, High School District 211, which covers areas such as Palatine and Schaumburg, 11,968 students, Evanston District 65 with 7,254 students. It's important for you as parents to know your rights. Visit awakeil.com/opt-out for all the information available to protect your child from sexual health lessons and discussions. Be sure to vote local. School board elections are April 4th, 2023. Make a plan to vote, whether by mail, early, or in person. School boards make the decision on whether to adopt comprehensive sexual education. Together we will say, "No, sir." Stay tuned for more on this series with continued modules at awakeil.com.